This is Hollywood. Matías Bombal with you. From 20th Century Fox Film Corporation, they offer a comic book adventure brought to life with Kingsman, The Secret Service. This tale of an athletic young man from a depressed part of London town takes on Pygmalion-like circumstances when he is fostered by splendid Colin Firth, a natty tailor who, in fact, works for an independent Secret Service organization, Kingsman. In a short prologue, we find that Firth had lost a fellow Kingsman in a covert operation when that man saved the lives of all involved by blocking a hand grenade. Later, visiting his widow, Firth offers her a pendant, which features a code for help should she ever be in distress. When she, out of grief, rejects it, he entrusts it to her young son. Years later, the young man, Eggsy, is in a disagreement with thugs at a local pub and takes one of their cars for a joyride and gets into big trouble with the police. Remembering the pendant he now wears on a chain around his neck might get him out of a rough spot. He is released and meets Colin Firth for the first time as an adult. They decide to enjoy a pint together in a local pub, only to encounter the thugs whose car Eggsy had taken recently.
What are you doing here?
Come on. Nonsense, we haven't finished our drinks.
After you nicked his car, Dean says you're fair game.
Listen, boys. I've had a rather emotional day, so whatever your beef with Eggsy is, I'd appreciate it enormously if you could just leave us in peace until I finish this lovely pint of Guinness.
You should get out of the way, Granddaddy. You'll get hurt and all.
He ain't joking. You should go.
Excuse me.
If you're looking for another rent boy, they're on the corner of Smith Street.
Manners maketh man. Do you know what that means? Then let me teach you a lesson. Are we going to stand around here all day? Or are we going to fight?
That's some Umbrella, and there you saw some of the comic book influence in the style of the fight choreography. Eggsy is played by young Taron Egerton, who is immeasurably likable in this role. He is greatly impressed and wants to be part of the thrills and adventure of being a Kingsman. And so his Pygmalion-like training begins.
Oh, yes. Very, very nice.
You're going to need a pair of shoes to go with your suit. An Oxford is any formal shoe with open lacing. This additional decorative piece is called broguing.
Oxford's not brogues.
Words to live by, Eggsy. Words to live by. Try a pair. Your weapon scores are excellent, by the way. These you're familiar with, and this is our standard issue pistol. It's quite unique, as you'll see. It also fires a shotgun cartridge for use in messy, close-range situations. How do they feel?
Yeah, good.
Now do your very best impersonation of a German aristocrat's formal greeting. No, Eggsy.
That is sick.
This movie is wonderfully entertaining, and even though it becomes more comic book-like in nature towards the end, it's loads of fun from start to finish, and in a very stylish way. The movie's enriched by Michael Caine, perfectly cast as the head of the Kingsman, Mark Hamill as a bewildered professor, and Samuel L. Jackson in a cartoonish but fun performance as he lisps his way through his dialogue. The details and sartorial references are a delight, such as when Colin Firth advises that Jackson must have a proper top hat for Ascot, and suggests Lock & Co. Hatters, a British hat maker in business since 1676. You may see here that I have one of their boaters in my own collection. The very tailor shop of the Kingsman is a loving tribute to such famous British tailors as Henry Poole & Co. at 15 Savile Row, which the great American dandy Lucius Beebe would frequent and immortalize in his short story Henry Poole, Gentleman's Tailor, where he described that Poole cut tunics for Napoleon, and you'll see similar tunics in the display cases of the Kingsman shop. Director Matthew Vaughn gives us a funny dinner moment between Samuel L. Jackson and Colin Firth, where from under an elegant serving cart appears one of these. From a major chain I will not mention, and it is served with this: a rare bottle of Chateau Lafite, the famous Bordeaux of the Rothschilds, who have owned that winery since the 19th century. This is not the first time this incongruous pairing has been offered for the public. There was a 2006 television commercial for the Palms Casino where the owner Maloof brothers, one-time owners of the Sacramento Kings basketball team, also shared a burger from a famous chain and an old bottle of Chateau Lafite. It was quite controversial in its day. I had a lot of fun with this movie. Much of it is more in the fun aspect of a James Bond adventure rather than comic book mayhem, and only near the end did the comic book elements seem to show up in strong force, such as an overly long scene of a crazed battle occurring at a hate group meeting in, of all places, a church. It makes sense for the storyline, but was just a bit much. That said, I left wanting to return to watch it again, and strapping Mr. Egerton's likable performance is likely to win him much future work on the screen. I wish him every success. The music cues play tributes to Bond films, and there's just a little Casino Royale thrown in for good measure. It's smart, sexy, and fun, and I don't generally care for comic book movies. The Motion Picture Association of America has given this an R rating. This is your pal, Matías Bombal, bidding you a fond farewell. I can't help, with a bottle of Chateau Lafite this close, not to enjoy the magnificence of it. I don't know if I'll have it with a burger, though. That just seems a little bit incorrect. Here's to the wonderful production of The Kingsman. That's very special. Enjoy The Kingsman.